Well, my father started in the car business back in the 40s, and I worked for him all my life. I've always loved the rare and exotic cars, antiques. My first car was a 28 Ford. I made it into a street rod and drove it to school, high school.
So did you pick up, was it a girl catcher or what?
A girl catcher? Nah, just I was a kind of a gearhead back in them days, and I was always underneath that car working on it, doing something to it, and it's always kind of stuck with me. I buy a lot of celebrity cars and celebrity vehicles. This one here happens to be Vin Diesel's motorcycle from the movie Triple X. When I tell you we buy celebrity vehicles, we make sure that they're documented, and they're worth nothing if they're not documented. This is the actual bike that was used in the movie. We have all the VIN numbers here from the manufacturer and from the museum where the bike came from. Oh, this is just a Harley that we took in trade here last week. It's a Sportster. We sell a lot of bikes, and anything that's different we like to sell.
Now, if somebody were to say, okay, I want this Harley, what would they do?
Well, this Harley here is a 98 model, and it's a one owner. We're asking $6,000 for it. For sale. It's here for looks. A good friend of mine, Ken Som, put that together for me. He restores the gas pumps, and that's actually a gas pump that came out of Muskegon back in the 50s. They said Elvis was in Kalamazoo, but they were wrong. He's here in Muskegon.
You got surfboards on the top and everything else.
This car here is a 41 Ford Woody, and it came from California originally. It's got a 350 running gear, tilt, cruise, and air.
So you have the do not touch signs on these cars out here. Does that mean these cars aren't for sale? Or
oh, they're for sale. Right. There's been a lot of money invested into them. We like to keep them in top condition.
Okay, so for this Woody, what would that go for?
This Woody, we have to have 150 grand for it. I was just out to the Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale, and I seen one similar to it bring a couple hundred, so I figured this one's worth $150,000. That's a signed picture, Muhammad Ali signed picture. Him and Elvis were great friends.
This is the stuff you're keeping yourself, right?
Some of my memorabilia stuff.
Okay. Some of these, the hot rod here is...
Back here in the corner we have Muhammad Ali's boxing outfit.
Okay, and I saw B.B. King, too.
And B.B. King, uh-huh.
He was young. He's like 80-something years old.
Right.
On the boxing outfit, Muhammad Ali, do you know what fight he...
This was a training outfit, one that he trained in, and he signed it, autographed it, and the gloves are autographed also.
Okay, I see that.
If you look up here, here's a picture of my dad and me when I was about 16 years old. This is my mother. She was a French war bride. My dad married her during World War II and brought her here to America. The Batmobile is an actual car from the Batman movie, Batman Returns 1 and 2. It was on the Drew Carey show, and it was also on the OnStar commercial. The Batmobile has hydraulics that will lift in the air. It's designed after a jet plane. It's built on a Impella chassis with a 350 Chevy in it. Batman slides the top ahead, and this is how he gets in. If you look inside, it's designed after a jet plane. We help kids with this. We take this to car shows and events where kids are less fortunate than we are or dying of terminal diseases. And what we do is we charge you to sit in the driver's seat, and then we give that money to the kids.
You do that maybe during the air show too?
We're going to have it there this year at the air show, in fact. It's already scheduled for the air show. It does shoot real flames, and it also has a display flame.
Well, this one is also for sale.
No, this is not for sale, because I help kids with this.
Okay, so this is yours.
This is my baby to keep.
Okay. Have you seen what it can do on the road?
We have taken it to shows and drove it there. In fact, I had a police escort over here to Wesley Park. The Muskegon Township Police had a a big group of kids there, and when I first got it, they escorted us there, and that was great time. Kids just loved it. Batman Returns 1 and 2 with Michael Keaton as Batman, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. This is the display flame here, and then it has a propane bottle that we put in there that will shoot actual real flames out the back. This motorcycle here belonged to Evel Knievel. Evel Knievel bought this bike in 1980. It was all custom built for him. He didn't do any jumps with this bike. This was actually his road bike. It's called the Golden Eagle. As you can see, it has a lot of gold trim on it. And on the tank we have Evel Knievel's name. We have his license plate on the back, says Evel K, and here's a picture down here with Evel with the bike. We also have the bill of sale from Evel Knievel that goes with the bike. And the bike is for sale.
Now, what about that? Now, how do you acquire these?
I go to a lot of celebrity auctions around the world. I go to the Barrett-Jackson auctions, the cruise auctions. I go to Vegas to a lot of the auctions there, and then I go out to California to some of the auctions. I go to the celebrity auctions, the car auctions.
I heard you were at the Super Bowl this year too.
I went to the Super Bowl. That was quite an experience. Detroit sure did a fine job. I'll tell you, they worked hard putting that together. The show wasn't the football game. The show was out in the streets. It was just unbelievable, the displays and the food and the people, right? It was really something to see. This is the actual E.T. from the movie. It's all mechanical. The head moves, the arms move, the finger lights up, and the heart beats. This was in E.T. movie. It was in Star Wars in the chamber meeting. 1992 Pepsi commercial for the Super Bowl.
How did you acquire something like this?
I buy a lot of celebrity items. As you can see, not only cars, but I buy a lot of famous people stuff for investment purposes, and just one of the many things I acquired.
Yeah, I take it Spielberg's not going to make an E.T. part 2.
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I don't really know.
Do you think that Hollywood would hold on to something like that?
Well, they made quite a few of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just one of the first ones that was ever built.
So now does the mouth move or anything?
Just the head moves, and like I said, the arm moves, the fingers light up, the one finger lights up at the end, and then the heart beats.
Is that some kind of a rubber that they put on there, or?
It's be honest with you, it is kind of a rubbery base. I don't know if you can see behind it here, but you can see the mechanism from behind, how they made it work there. We have a lot of the odd stuff here just for people to come in and enjoy, and see. We've made it into a fun thing. We had George Jones's Jeep. The license plate you see there, George got no-show. He not show up for a lot of his concerts because he was drinking, and so then they nicknamed him No-Show, and they started putting that on his vehicles.
I saw George quite a few years back, and he was just amazing.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite.
I too.
We had the Beverly Hillbillies convertible with Jane Hathaway. We had Conway Twitty's Cadillac. You can't see it, it's buried down there. And we had another George Jones truck. We had Evel Knievel's Stutz Blackhawk, and that's we sold that to Imperial Palace. That's out there on display. It had all real mink interior and mink in the trunk, and it was all trimmed in gold. Yeah. This car here is a 33 Willys street rod. It's got a 383 stroker in it with the inline 4-speed, all real leather interior. It has the rumble seat in the back. I'll show you the motor here. This one's been really done nice. Anyway, this is a 383 stroker. You can see the quality that this car has been built. Very, very fast. This thing just snorts.
This one is for sale.
This one is for sale. You want a rare street rod and one that you won't see a lot coming at you is this one right here. This here is a 69 Firebird. It's got a 354 speed. My friend and helper here, Ed, he's installing a new stereo in it. He does a lot of the odd jobs around here, and he's really dependable. Knows quite a bit about cars.
You guys been friends for years?
Oh, we grew up together. He's my hunting buddy. Ed, you want to step out and say hi?
Yeah.
Ed likes to work. Ed likes to work on these old cars. He's worked on them for a lot of years for me. He knows them from nose to toes.
Yeah. They give me a pain in the butt sometimes, so it's fine.
We just got this one in. This is a 89 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. One owner. It's got 32,000 original miles. We've had quite a few Rolls-Royces here. We've had Queen Mary's, we've had the Maharaja of India's Rolls-Royce, we had Pete Rolls' Rolls-Royce, we had Ringo Starr's Rolls-Royce here. And this car here is a 77 Trans Am. It's one of the hot ones. It's got that 6.6 in it. It's a one owner also with 50,000 original miles.
So you keep all these in the back.
Well, yeah, we put these in storage, but these ones have just came in, so we haven't had a chance to put them away yet. This one here is a 69 Firebird. It's got a 354 speed, and it's a convertible. It's a pretty rare car.
This one here for sale here. Trailer.
Well, this trailer is a actual antique Coca-Cola trailer on wheels, and it's towed behind this 29 Ford Street Rod here. People in a little coupe like this, there's not a lot of room to haul your luggage and stuff, and when they hit the road with it, go to some of the car shows, they need a trailer, so they've been starting using these Coca-Cola trailers for that purpose. You ready here?
Okay.
As you can see, we have the cars real close together because it's winter and we've just tucked them in to keep them out of the weather. This little rig here came from the movie Megaforce, and it actually shoots flames out of the machine gun there, and flames will come out of the other guns that they have there. We also have the motorcycle that matches it, and it too has missiles and machine guns on it. This one here is a 23T Street Rod. This has a Corvette motor in it. These are real popular. Back in the 60s and 50s, these were the real deal. This is the street rod that everybody wanted back in that era. This car here was built by George Barris, and this car was built for Sammy Davis Jr. This is the actual car that Sammy kept out in Las Vegas when he was with the Rat Pack. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Peter Lawford, Joey Bishop, they all rode in that car. As I told you earlier, the Stutz Blackhawk was that Evel Knievel owned, was a real popular car and everybody wanted one. Well, Sammy couldn't get one at that time, so he had George Barris build him one similar to it.
It's a pretty unique looking car.
Uh-huh.
You got Sammy's...
Sammy's name's right on the doorpost there. Uh-huh. And his name is also on the grill, and then there's a big plate on the inside built by George Barris and made special for Sammy Davis. It's the only one in the world like it. If you look on the fender here, you'll see the Barris. This was Elvis Presley's personal limo. Elvis drove this limo, Elvis was chauffeured in this limo, and then Elvis's dad rode in this limo behind the casket. So there's a lot of history that goes with this Cadillac. We just sold Elvis's very last Cadillac to the rock group The Wiggles from Australia. They're on the Disney Channel, and we've had 6 Elvis vehicles in and out of here.
So they're like big Elvis fans, the Wiggles?
The Wiggles are big Elvis fans. This Cadillac over here, this was Evel Knievel's Cadillac. Now, Evel Knievel bought this brand new in 1973. If you go to the windshield there, you'll see the bill of sale from Evel Knievel for this car. Elvis had a lot of Cadillacs. He loved Cadillacs. Them were his favorite car. But he also had Stutz Blackhawks. He had Panteras. He had Ferraris. He had Rolls Royces. in his lifetime, he had a passion for cars, so he bought quite a few, and he gave quite a few away too. And I go to a lot of celebrity auctions. I have friends that were real good friends with Elvis. I knew Elvis personally myself, so I acquired a lot of stuff that way.
So give us a little insight as far as Elvis. You knew Elvis personally. What?
My father was from Tennessee, and most of our family's from Tennessee. And we met Elvis back in '57 when I was just a young kid. And then I dated Elvis's cousin, and then I met some of Elvis's family, a lot of their family. Got to know them really well, and just always stayed in touch. And
so as far as all those rumors they had about Elvis and stuff, was he just a really good guy, or what?
Elvis loved his fans. He'd take the shirt off his back and give it to you. This Cadillac here, this was Mary Kay's Cosmetics Cadillac, and Mary Kay had it custom built. If you come here to the side, you can see it's a 81 Seville, and they took the back doors off, brought the back end up to the front, and then extended the nose on it, put tire mounts on it. She spent over $70,000 to have this done. This is in her movie Hell on Heels, the story of her life. It has 12,961 actual miles, and it came from her museum out of Texas. This here is a 1934 Packard limo, and it originally belonged to Al Capone. Al Capone's family used this quite a bit. It is a true limo. It has a divider window, has jump seats, has a great big suitcase on the back. I think we got Al Capone still in there.
Got the bullet holes and everything.
Yeah, look inside. There he is. This vehicle also belonged to Marty Robbins, and they're worth nothing if they're not documented. This is the actual bike that was used in the movie. We have all the VIN numbers here from the manufacturer and from the museum where the bike came from. Oh, this is just a Harley that we took in trade here last week. It's a Sportster. We sell a lot of bikes, and anything that's different we like to sell.
Now, if somebody were to say, okay, I want this Harley, what would they do?
This Harley here is a '98 model, and it's a one owner. We're asking $6,000 for it. For sales, it's here for looks. A good friend of mine, Ken Sonny, invested into them. We like to keep them in top condition.
Okay, so for this Woody, what would that go for?
This Woody, we have to have 150 grand for it. I was just out to the Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale, and I seen one similar to it bring a couple hundred, so I figured this one's worth $150. That's a signed picture, Muhammad Ali signed picture. Him and Elvis were great friends.
This is just stuff you're keeping yourself, right?
Some of my memorabilia stuff.
Okay. Some of these, the hot rod here is...
Back here in the corner we have Muhammad Ali's boxing outfit.
Yeah, and I saw B.B. King, too.
And B.B. King, uh-huh.
B.B. King. When he was young, he's like 80-something years old.
Right.
On the boxing outfit, Muhammad Ali, do you know what fight he...
This was a training outfit, one that he trained in, and he signed it, autographed it, and the gloves are autographed also.
Okay, I see that.
If you look up here, here's a picture of my dad and me when I was about 16 years old. This is my mother. She was a French war bride. My dad married her. Well, my father started in the car business back in the 40s, and I worked for him all my life. I've always loved the rare and exotic cars, antiques. My first car was a 28 Ford. I made it into a street rod and drove it to school, high school.
So did you pick up, was it a girl catcher or what?
A girl catcher? Nah, just I was a kind of a gearhead back in them days, and I was always underneath that car working on it, doing something to it, and it's always kind of stuck with me. I buy a lot of celebrity cars and celebrity vehicles. This one here happens to be Vin Diesel's motorcycle from the movie Triple X. When I tell you we buy celebrity vehicles, we make sure that they're documented. Tom put that together for me. He restores the gas pumps, and that's actually a gas pump that came out of Muskegon back in the 50s. They said Elvis was in Kalamazoo, but they were wrong. He's here in Muskegon.
He's got surfboards on the top and everything else.
This car here is a 41 Ford Woody, and it came from California originally. It's got a 350 running gear, tilt, cruise, and air.
Now, see, you have the do not touch signs on these cars out here. Does that mean these cars aren't for sale? Or
Oh, they're for sale. We just,
anybody messing with them?
right. There's been a lot of